The truth is, many people leave Costa Rica because their reality doesn't match their day-to-day expectations.
Round one, fight!
The truth is, Costa Rica is just like any other country. It's going to have some things that you're going to love, and it's going to have some things that you're not going to be too happy about. And if you don't put those into your reality and the expectation that everything is going to be perfect, you're going to find yourself very displeased or highly uncomfortable. For example, the reason that you left the United States because everything was too fast. Now you want everything slowed down. Now when you get in the grocery store, you complain how slow it is. For many, this is a problem because when they do their dreams, they don't actually put in reality of what it actually means to slow down. Slowing down is just not in the areas that you found uncomfortable. Slowing down comes in all types of areas, and they may come in places where you're not quite expected. For example, I bet you're used to getting through the bank line in no time. Well, in Costa Rica, that's not always true. There's been many times when I've stood in line for over an hour and a half just because they use two tellers. What I honestly learned to do is first, to be patient, schedule on non-busy days if you can find them, but 3, learn not to have anything else planned if I need to run inside the bank. So when many people are talking about you moving to Costa Rica and they're designing out their life plan, all they're doing is planning for their vacation. They design on this weekend and that weekend we're going to go to the beach, we're going to go to the volcano, and they don't have a real concept of day to life. If you're living near a beach town, you're gonna find out it's just part of life. And it's going to be beautiful, magnificent, especially if you're a beach lover. It would be no different than loving golf and living on a golf course. You would see this every single day. Now, I'm not saying that the passion would die. It would just become part of your day-to-day life. You'll need something more besides getting back to another game, or in our example in Costa Rica, getting back onto the beach. You're going to need a purpose. The expectation is that your love for beaches will never die. You'll always find something to do. You'll always run and play. But the reality is, if you don't have a purpose in life, the beaches won't fill you. If you're just going to the beach, you'll see the water, you'll think it's beautiful, but it's like, now what? I've been here 35 times this week. What else is there to life? And even if your mind doesn't want to admit that, you're inside and subconscious is like, yeah, there's got to be more than life than looking at this beautiful view. What else is there? If you don't have any other connections, you're not walking in purpose, the reality of that is the beach won't cover it for you. And it won't distract you enough to actually keep you moving and keep you afloat. Friends. By this phase in your life, you probably have a plethora of friends. And so they've probably been around for 20 years and you have a group of maybe a small 20, let's just take it conservatively, but it is grown to such of a state that you don't have to keep going out and getting friends. Someone else will be invited to the party and you won't really have to do much work and you'll get to meet another person without actually making the effort. But when you make your vision for Costa Rica, no one really takes to the account of actually starting over. Depending on your personality, that muscle of finding new friends hasn't been used in, unfortunately, a long time. And so when you move to Costa Rica, you end up finding that, hey, who do I talk to? Yeah, people are nice, but I haven't worked on, getting to have a good friend for a long time, and I'm starting from zero. There's a process that a lot of people who move down here don't actually go through. And what happens is they either take one of two roads. They end up taking the expat road because it's easy to find friends, or so they think, and, that are expats and they can at least speak the same language, and then you go with the flow. And that's great and all, but the problem is you're missing the other half of the equation of actually having Tico friends. Or the other option that some people subconsciously choose is kind of not to do nothing. It'll happen. And they end up sitting in their house or going to the beach by themselves. They'll make small talk, but they don't actually do the work needed to harbor a good relationship or a friendship. And unfortunately, a lot of those people end up leaving Costa Rica on bad terms, stating that the community just wasn't there. And a tip to combat this is realizing that you're going to have to, in your dream plan, make room to get to know people. In one of my other videos, I mentioned that, hey, church is a great place because you'll find the same people there every Sunday with common interests. And it will also leave an avenue for you guys to start conversations before and after church. And generally, yes, even if you don't speak the language, there's generally one or two people there, and because of the atmosphere, they'll generally point you to that person that can speak English or speak some level of English, and you'll end up getting invited to different functions. The second tip that I have to go along with this is actually be patient. Show yourself compassion. Let's say, hey, we are starting over, and sometimes it's just going to take time. But as long as you don't ignore the process and just believe that your friends are magically going to appear, and you're actually working on the effort, you're trying to make conversation, and you're trying to find a way to connect and interact with people, it'll happen. But give yourself time. It's not going to be the same as it was in the United States when you had 20, 40 years to develop friends, even if they were just work friends. This point is for my couples. Aww. If you thought, the expectation is you're gonna get there and my partner's gonna love it, and you've really not had a thorough conversation, maybe you went through your why, but you really didn't bother to address their why. The reality is when you get to Costa Rica, the honeymoon phase will wear off for your partner, and they will probably still be in vacation mode, and even if you have a good why, you'll be in purpose mode, and they'll start to get uncomfortable. Because the vacation mode, they'll want it to end and like, okay, let's do something else. Where is my purpose? And so you have one partner maybe with a good purpose and reason for being there and loves it, and the other person is like, oh, this is not what I imagined it to be. I don't have the community. I don't have the sense of purpose. The reality of that is if your partner's not happy, you're not going to find yourself in the utopia that you dreamt to be. And at worst case scenario, you're going to find yourself surrounded by beautiful things in the midst of constant arguments. Aww. The tip to combat this is actually have good dialogue with you and your partner. Talk about the things of why they want to come and why you want to come. And even if they're different, then you make time to do both. And most importantly is to have that basic foundation that we both agree that, yeah, we're going to start over. We're both going to find community, and we're going to have friends apart. We're going to have friends together. And so if that means a boy's night out doing something and a woman's night out doing something, then, and that's what you had in the States, you want to actually have something like that here in Costa Rica. And that may take time to develop. And the reality of it is, as long as you guys are working together towards that dream and you are patient and you're compassionate towards each other, then you're able to move forward and you can enjoy your life in Costa Rica. Kids are another surprise where you expect one thing and you get another. So kids honestly are a mixed bag. And it's a little bit hard to juggle the reality and expectations with them, especially depending on their age and your kids. Well, at least you think you do. So I've seen it where the fact that new language, new culture inspired my child in particular to want to see other parts of the world, see other countries, learn new languages, and just kind of thrive. But there's also been circumstances where, another child will refuse to learn the language and have difficulty making friends just because things are not coming as quickly as they did in the United States. And so you will actually have to see, what does that mean for your child? The tip for that, and there's things that you can do if you find yourself struggling with the language, yes, get them involved in events. There's different types of schools, there's online schools, there's a number of different things that you need to take time and figure out what will be best and beneficial for your kid. It doesn't mean not coming to Costa Rica. There are many solutions to this problem, and because you're the parent, you get the joy of finding out what solution will work best for your child. If you want to know more about moving and living in Costa Rica, why don't you check out these 2 videos? And in the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the other side.